Hello, students. This is Miss Dial, your friendly Parkway North High librarian, and I'm here today to talk about the importance of evaluating a source when you are doing research. Now, in this case, I'm not talking about determining if the author is an expert and things like that. What I'm talking about today is evaluating the source to determine if they're mostly providing facts or opinions, if they have a bias, otherwise known as a slant, toward one side or another, or if the article is stating either a pro or a con to a certain topic, or maybe they're providing you a little bit of both. So let's go ahead and take a look. Fact or opinion. First of all, you probably know that a fact is a statement that can be definitely proven true or false, whereas an opinion is a statement of belief that you really can't prove to be true or false. So let's take a look here. And this is an article that is titled College of Education Researchers Conduct Study on Impacts of School Uniforms. So when we're talking about facts versus opinions, I'm taking a look at this article, and it looks to me that this is going to be a very fact-based article. It's talking about research on school uniforms. It's acknowledging the research is minimal, but then it starts talking about some research that was conducted at the University of Nevada. It talks about the type of research that they conducted and the types of surveys that they gave out to people. So really, this article is not providing me a lot of opinion, if any. This article is providing facts that researchers are getting from something that they researched about school uniforms. Okay, so now let's look at bias or slant. A bias occurs when a writer indicates a preference or a prejudice toward one side or another of a topic. This can be shown through different clues throughout the article. One which is very important is the language that the author uses. If they indicate bias, you're probably going to see a lot of extreme words that they're specifically trying to create a strong positive or negative opinion of that particular topic. Also, the author will be using a lot of emotions to try to persuade you in one way or another, instead of using a lot of logic. Also, another little ploy that an author might use would be, hey, we're the good guys versus the bad guys who have this other opinion of the topic. And so they might say things like, those of us who are very smart would understand this side, or those of us who are good critical thinkers would understand this. So those are some clues that you might notice that the author is really biased toward one side or another. Also, if there is bias, they're not going to tell you too much about the other side of the topic. They're mostly going to just be promoting their own side, oversimplifying everything, overgeneralizing, not even bringing up anything that contradicts their viewpoint. So here is an example of an article showing bias. This one is from a newspaper, and the title is School Uniforms, Turning Our Kids into Soulless Conformists. So you can tell just from the strong language of the title that this author thinks that school uniforms cause people to be conformists who have no individual identity. Asking, do we want a world of dull conformists? As I look through the article, I don't see anything that talks about the other side of this issue. Basically, it is just talking in a very negative way about school uniforms, about how they're hot and sweaty, nasty polo shirts. And then she finally wraps it up by saying that uniforms are preparation for the world of uniform thinking. So again, this person clearly thinks that if students wear a uniform, they are losing their identity. Some articles might present one side or another of an issue, but they do this without really using a lot of bias. They're not lying or distorting facts. They are simply creating or stating a logical argument on one side or another of the topic. The reason for this is that there are a lot of controversial topics that don't really have a concrete right or wrong answer, so there is room for logical argument. A lot of articles in our databases are actually going to present both the pros and cons of an issue because they're designed to help students understand the topic. So, how can you tell if it's pro or con? Well, again, using the article title as a clue is always the best thing to start with, as well as any summary of the article that may be there. Reading the first few paragraphs should give you an idea of what the author is arguing. Also, of course, positive or negative language is something else to look at. And again, just bear in mind, you might find both pro and con ideas in the same article. So let's take a look. This is another article from a newspaper. This one is called, "By All Accounts, School Uniforms Improve Learning Environment." So that seems to indicate that the authors are in favor of school uniforms. But as I continue to read through it, I don't really notice a lot of strong language or anything trying to persuade me of that. Really, they are actually acknowledging that there is not a lot of research into this topic. It says right here, while research into the effectiveness of a uniform policy is inconclusive, but then it goes on to say what supporters of uniforms offer evidence of. So they're acknowledging the fact that actual evidence, like up here, empirical evidence is sketchy at best, but many school administrators, teachers, and students are sold on them. And then they go on to describe why administrators, teachers, and students are sold on them. So although they are talking about the pros of school uniforms, they aren't using a lot of emotions or anything like that to persuade you. So this really is a fairly balanced article, even though they are really focusing on the pro side in this case. Here's another example. This is from the USA Today. And this one is a little bit more in the middle of the road. What to wear back to school. Schools increasingly making that choice with uniforms and dress code. So it is showing that more schools are increasingly choosing to wear uniforms, but it doesn't really try to persuade you that that is necessarily good or bad. It's kind of just stating facts for this part of the argument. So it's giving you some statistics, talking about some history of school uniforms, and again, finding that research is pretty much unknown or in some cases negative. So really they're presenting both pros and cons of the issue. All right, so hopefully now you guys have some ideas of what to look for while evaluating a source if you're trying to find out fact versus opinion, whether or not it shows a bias, and if the article is giving you a pro or a con of an argument. So now you guys will have a chance to practice this yourself.